Third phase of moon. Third phase.
Welcome back. Blake Cousins here, Third Phase of Moon on location, Redondo Beach. Special treat. We're going to be meeting the man that summons UFOs, and he's going to join us right here, Third Phase of Moon, Mr. Robert Bingham. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome. Nice to see you again.
Wow, first time in person with Robert Bingham. We've known and collaborated for, what, 3-4 years now. He's been doing a lot of events in downtown Los Angeles. We're here at Redondo, and we want to get some UFOs summoned. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask Robert some big questions right here. Robert, what got you started into the UFO summoning from the beginning? Was it all about the crowds, the public, or did you get this knowledge from the beginning by yourself? Tell me, how did it all go down?
Well, as you know, after I did that interview with you on Skype, I did a couple of things for Mark Guzman where he invited 40 people. And about 40 to 50 people showed up, and we had a really great outcome. I mean, a lot of craft showed up. And I believe that you told me, why don't you go public? I think that's how it happened. I told you I was going to go public, and then you told me, where are you going to do it? I said, the Park Plaza, and it took off from there. And it took on a life of its own, actually.
Absolutely. You know, it was quite interesting when I got that cold call via Skype. We asked the people from around the world to, share their stories, their UFO videos, and then Mark Guzman calls us via Skype cold call, and he's in kind of a overwhelming state in regards to what he saw and what you shared with him. And I could tell that he was kind of visibly shook, and even his wife was. And what happened next when the people showed up at the Park Plaza Hotel was quite interesting. Let's take a look at some of the footage right now. We're back right here, Redondo. Mr. Robert Bingham, the man that summons UFOs. I want to ask you, when did you first realize that you had this special power to communicate with the aliens?
Well, one night I was looking at a room at a place that I was boarding at, and I was going to switch rooms. And it was kind of a little spooky, as far as the Santa Ana winds blowing. And for some reason, my friend says, hey, it's kind of like really strange night tonight. And I said, we're going to see an alien tonight. And so when we actually seen a ship coming down the street, looked like it had diamond facets, and it was all black, and it was just morphing a little. And as it was going down the street, the level of my the second story, my balcony, was just so incredible. I remembered that I said I was, that we were going to see aliens. So the next day, I actually said, well, if I did it then, I'll try it again.
There you go.
And so I did it, and they came, and I kept doing it and repeating this process. And as they came, I finally got a camera. I started recording it and conducting my own little experiments. I didn't want to go public because I didn't want the scrutiny, but I knew one day that I would have to. And so when I ran into Mark Guzman and we did that Skype, it went kind of viral.
Yeah.
I said, well, this is my time to go public. And so.
The rest is history after that.
Yeah.
What's quite interesting is people wanted to know how it's done. What are the techniques? And then you put out a video in regards to the techniques, the steps it is to summon these UFOs. And all of a sudden, Third Phase of Moon started receiving videos from around the world. People that claim they've learned this from you, and it's quite interesting. The phenomenon has grown, and people are picking up on the techniques. What's next, Robert? What's going to be the next big thing for you?
The next big thing for me is doing a documentary and writing a book. That's the next big thing. And actually, I want to I want to get a TV series and teach people all around the world that they're given a God-given right to summon. God had God gave us all the ability to do this, but I guess we lost it throughout the ages, and I discovered it in sharing this with the world, and so that's what we're doing now.
You know, I'm quite excited. It's the first time I've been on location while Robert Bingham's going to perform this summoning here in the next few minutes, but I wanted to go over some other footage that we've filmed in the past through people that have submitted right here at Third Phase of Moon videos from on location. Let's get to it.
This one has been here about 10 minutes, and I've been having trouble trying to...
You know, there are some skeptics out there that, you know, claim that it's simply, you know, they're balloons up in the skies. What do you got to say to the skeptics on these UFOs, these anomalies that you captured in the sky?
Well, I'd like to let all the people out there know that they're not balloons. And the reason why they come looking like things that you normally see in the sky is they don't want to raise any fears with the public. Or I'm sure if I went out there and summoned out there where there's, you know, not in a metropolis, that they would come in their true nature, which is a ship and things like that. But they don't want to raise alarms or have anything with the government as far as the government getting mad at me. So.
It's interesting you say that. What's your opinion on the beings that you communicate with? Some people say they're good aliens, they're bad aliens, different species visit planet Earth. The communications that you're having, have you ever come across kind of a, you know, an alien that's not so friendly?
Well, no, they're all friendly, but I mean, I think Wonton is the closest one to being looking kind of malevolent and dark. But Wonton is really a great video. But most of, they're all, I'm sure they're malevolent beings, and there's benevolent. And I strictly am attracting the benevolent ones. But although the malevolent ones do come around to check out what their brothers are doing, because they're both brothers.
Sure.
And so, you know, it's what you're going after. If you're going after attracting malevolent things, I'm sure you'll get it. And if you're attracting benevolent, which everybody should be doing, you'll get that also.
You know, it's quite interesting. Some people claim that, you know, you shouldn't be doing this, that summoning these things are, you know, you're conjuring the devil is what some people claim, obviously. Huh?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Sure.
That, in my opinion, that's strictly the powers that be. Religious powerhouses that want you to be not rocking their boat and not searching elsewhere, you know, not having an open mind. But I believe that God gave us this right, you know, to go out there and to talk to Him, you know, not, you know, the powers that be are going to say that they're devils and everything. They've been doing that to all the great thinkers throughout history that ever came up with something different. They always said, oh, the devil, the devil.
The devil did it.
Yeah, the devil. So, no, I leave it up to the people to have their own mind and their own judgment, and that's basically it. You got to make that opinion yourself, and all I know is if you want to know, you can know, and if you don't have to know.
Fascinating. You know, Robert Bingham, there is, what would be the best place to do this location right now in regards to summoning UFOs? There is a pier right out here. Do you think it'd be a good place to do it?
I could do it anywhere, actually, but I would like to do it over there if that you didn't mind.
Okay, let's do it over there. You ready, Brent? Let's follow Robert Bingham and I and the rest of the crew and see if we could see some UFOs. This looks like a good place, Robert. The Redondo Pier. It's a little overcast and windy at the moment. Could this be a problem?
Well, yes and no. I always just have faith, and when you summon, you have to have a lot of faith. And so we'll see what happens. I'm going to go over the technique right now. There's certain steps, and the most important step is to keep it simple. So I'll go over the steps of summoning right now, and we'll see what happens. Okay, guys?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, I'll pick a spot in the sky, like that little cloud right there, and I'll intensely look at it, and I'll telepathically tell them to come with my eyes. And I'll try to look as deep into that sky as I can, and with a message for them to come, and and they'll show up, and we'll see what happens. But you know, you got to keep it as simple. I mean, it's really something that you have to have faith and believe that they are going to come. So that's what I'll do right now.
Okay, Robert Bingham is going to be summoning UFOs. He's going over the techniques. We're going to keep our eyes peeled. We got camera guys right here with equipment, long lenses. Let's hopefully we capture something right here on the Redondo Pier.
Okay, and it's really, I don't stay there too long. I keep it simple, and I telegraph that message up there and see what happens.
All right.
A lot of times they come really fast, and sometimes it takes a little time. We'll just see what happens. I find summoning a lot like fishing, and a lot of people, it's like fishing. People get excited on the capture of that craft and what type of craft it is. It's just like people that get big fish and little fish. It's all the excitement. It's a lot like fishing, and so I just wanted to put that out there. So it's a quest for me, but a lot of people, it's more like a hobby. So.
Let me ask you this, Robert. Is you know, some places that you do this have better results than other places?
That's a hard one. I've had results. At my studio.
I know. I've seen you do it in Arizona.
I've done it everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. Yeah.
I get a lot of good action at Culver City now because I'm there a lot working. Culver City Studios. I guess it's really, you know, my home base is the Park Plaza.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was the first day we did the summoning over there at the Park Plaza, and you had a close encounter that day. You almost lost your life?
Oh, there was yeah, as I left that event, the first event that I ever did, I was driving down the street and I had a green light to turn onto a boulevard, but I couldn't see the traffic coming this way, but I heard an engine. So I stopped before I got into the intersection, and it passed my bumper. And if I would have continued, he would have hit me on the driver's side and killed me. But
was it a coincidence?
I believe it was elements within the, I don't want to say the government, but elements within dark forces that were. They warned me not to go public. They said something could happen to me, and I believe that they protect me up there.
What are some of the repercussions of going public? I know there's a lot of ridicule. We get it right here at Third Phase of Moon. When people don't understand what they're seeing, you know, they come across pretty ignorant, and sometimes, you know.
Well, I think the repercussions, like they, you know, they told me not to go public with it because it was a need-to-know basis, and the public didn't need to know, and that something could happen to me if I did go public with it. But I believe that the public should know. You know, I think the public's ready to handle all this, and they should know, because Fukushima and the Gulf is a prime example of where these leaders that are keeping us in the dark are heading the world into this kind of, it's not going to last too long, you know, so we got to take the horse by the reins and kind of steer the earth in, I mean, the population into a different way of doing things, you know, a more ecological and a more, you might say a more, the word is I'm trying to get is micromanagement the earth, you know. We gotta micromanage it. And everything I'm talking about, from waste, especially consumption of resources and things like that, man. We gotta really be aware of what we're doing.
All right, we're having the cameras peeled. We're gonna keep our eyes to the skies. We'll be right back. All right, things are happening right now. What appears to be almost like two suns, but now clouds are covering it up. It's hard to capture. I should have brought my sunglasses. Robert,
Yes.
what are we looking at here?
Well, Evo was looking, and I've seen this before on YouTube. Some people catch there's like 2 planets, or right here it looks like kind of 3 of them, but it looks like 2 suns, and if you get it at the right angle and the right shade, you see it. You just gotta keep looking at it. And I believe it's 2 suns.
Are you catching that, Brent? Anything? It's hard to capture on film, but I'm seeing it with the naked eye.
I got it.
Oh, you did. You got it. Good.
Yes.
Well, something's going down here.
And I've always, when I talk to people at events and things, I've always tell them they got to focus really on what's going on around them, otherwise they'll miss it. And so, just if you really concentrate and focus, you'll see things that, you can see the roundness of something like another sun on the right.
We're here with John. He's been following around Robert Bingham for quite some time. Tell me some of the experiences. You've been close to Robert while he's doing these summoning events.
Right.
What's the most exciting thing that you've seen in the sky?
I've seen a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot, but the triangle deal. MacArthur Park, we filmed a triangle up in the sky in the daytime, broad daylight, 40 people sitting there watching this thing. And it was just amazing. Now, they were putting on a show for us. I mean, it was cool, and it felt good. For some reason, it made you feel good. I don't know why, people go, well, that might be evil shit. But I don't know, it felt good,
You had a sense of euphoria while this was going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and a lot of morphing objects, things that look like snakes that are lighting up and transforming into all kinds of crazy stuff, and people get all freaked out that these are just balloons sometimes. They go, look, but that's a balloon. But if you look at the tether hanging down, the thing's like a tree trunk. I mean, so this is not a balloon. So, but once they get past that, they see the way it's moving. Sometimes it'll look like a lollipop. It'll look like a balloon from a distance at a glance. But when you're watching it, thing's moving like a lollipop, the string's like straight. And it's a light, it's some kind of an energy pulse coming from the bottom of this thing to look like a balloon. They're mimicking things.
Let me ask you this: with the multiple eyewitnesses on the ground, that must be a special moment because you're not alone when this is going down. You have your cameras, you have multiple eyewitnesses experiencing the same thing. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, that's the best part of it to me is watching people that don't believe it at all, and then they see it. They don't even know what to do. They're like, ha, 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 ha. So that's the fun part. And they go home with this whole new look at life now. I'm gonna go home and stare at the sky, because they want to see it again. And they will. Once you see them once, I think you start seeing them a lot. It's like they trust you or something. I don't know what it is, but they've been following me around. I'll walk out of my house sometimes and just sitting up there. I got no camera. I'm just like, I like it around people around, you just don't know for sure.
Grant here has been following Robert Bingham for quite some time. He's working on a documentary with never before seen footage. I'm excited to see that. Grant, tell me some of your best experiences with Robert. Let's get started.
Well, I met Robert close to 2 years ago now. I saw one of his videos on YouTube, and it piqued my interest. And so I started researching him. I came across a bunch of his other videos, and I sent him an email and reached out to him and let him know that I was a documentarian, and I was curious to meet with him for the possibility of doing a project on him and his experiences. And 2 days later, he called me, and that was a Monday, and then we scheduled a time to meet on Wednesday, and that was the spring of 2013. So I went over to his house in Eagle Rock, and it was quite spectacular.
Have you ever seen a UFO before that?
Myself personally, yes. I've seen them throughout my life. Seen some pretty interesting objects in the sky that were unexplainable, mechanical, and didn't resemble anything man-made or Earth-like.
You were telling me a little earlier that there's going to be some footage that's going to blow you away. I haven't seen it yet, but tell me about what people are going to expect to see in this documentary about Robert Bingham.
Well, I think what people are going to expect to see is a real detailed encounter of how he discovered this. Other people that have also explored this and their results. Jim Martin, Jonathan Castro, several other people throughout the world. I've spoken to quite a few, and their personal experiences. I myself have filmed. I couldn't tell you how many objects in the sky with Robert. Some that had that similarity to a balloon, some that were mechanical, some that were angelic, and some that looked like just a form of energy that was emitting its own light source.
You know, it's quite interesting because they do come in all shapes and sizes when Robert Bingham does this. Are you summoning them now? Have you learned the technique yourself?
You know, I got to be honest with you. I, in the beginning, made a conscious decision not to. Only because I wanted to stay true to the story and not be biased.
Sure.
But I got to admit that recently I have had some personal experiences on my own without anybody, and that was quite interesting. So I think that being exposed to this consciousness or this reality that's happening, you can't help it. It's once you open yourself up to it and accept the fact that there is more than we know, you start realizing how much more, I suppose.
Okay, Robert Bingham is making contact, and we got Ava, assistant to Robert Bingham, for just a little over 3 years. I'm sure you've been on this roller coaster ride with Robert. What's the most exciting UFO sighting that you've had?
Well, this last one that we just got, the Abracadabra, I saw that one. That was in my front yard. It was great, exciting, and colorful, and I don't see that great, but it came down close enough for us to see it. We've had a lot of sightings in my front yard, a lot. And the other one was the first time that he summoned for me in Highland Park when he was living on Avenue 59. It was beautiful. They came in and they flashed us. They said, "Here we are. Hello, hello, hello." And I was so excited. I said, "There they are." And I can talk to them telepathically. I get messages from them.
Well, you know, Ava, you were just telling me just off camera that you're an abductee yourself, correct? And
I wasn't abducted.
You weren't abducted?
No,
How did it go down? You volunteered?
Volunteered to go on board ship, and they showed me that I could be, well, what they told me was that I'm a pilot and a navigator. So they showed me what I can do by taking me aboard ship, and all I can tell you is that I saw those stars going by right through the window of the ship, zoom. It was so exciting. I loved it. And they said, "You can drive it now." Telepathically, they told me.
Wow.
I said, "But I didn't see any knobs or anything." I said, "How can I do this?" He said, "You know how." It was clear. Everything was clear. So with the thought.
It was instinctual.
Yes. And with the thought, you tell it what you do. So
Wow.
I came out of that. It was kind of like a dream like, but I know it happened. And I kept thinking about it, you know. What did I just go through? Well, my friends up there, my telepathic friends that I speak to every day. I talk to them every day.
A lot of the times the UFOs will show up, you know, we don't see it with our naked eye, but sensitive camera equipment captures, you know, UFO phenomenon. We're going to be looking over the footage. Robert, I know you have a lot of footage yourself. Is there sometimes when you didn't see the UFO and then you go back and view it and you're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I missed that"?
Yes, there are a lot of times. Just recently, I took photos of a helicopter, 3 of them, Army helicopters, and we discovered there was drones, little drones, all around the helicopter. When I do most of my orbs, there's always drones around them, and we only noticed the drones when we put them on the monitor and we really look at them, and we discover a lot of things. So I always suggest people really look at this stuff, and they'll discover that they did capture something.
No, that's the interesting thing about it. Millions of people around the world take photographs, videos every day. Millions of hours of stock footage developed on an hourly basis around the world. Who knows what is being captured and what will be discovered and shared. You know, we're still keeping an eye out. We did see the phenomenon of what looked and appeared to be 2 suns in the skies. We're going to have our cameras rolling.
I'm looking right here, and and if you look to the right of the buoy, straight down, it looks like a periscope, a stick sticking up. Do you see it? Like to the right, further up of the buoy.
Oh yeah.
You see that stick like sticking up?
It's like there's a submarine periscope
Isn't
sticking
it?
out, like a maybe.
Yeah. Really,
That's strange.
isn't it?
What we're looking at is some kind of rod, approximately maybe a half-mile out to sea. It doesn't make much sense, Robert. You would think that there would be some kind of safety light, a bell of some sort to avoid some kind of collision.
Right. You know, it's very unusual. I've been looking at the oceans, you know, wherever I'm at, and a buoy would have a big old, like that. You see it? It's red and white, and it's huge. And you can't miss it. But this is just a rod sticking out of the ocean.
I'm gonna look for some maybe law enforcement, Coast Guard, see if we can find out exactly what this object is floating just off Redondo Beach Pier, about a half-mile out. Absolutely a strange phenomenon happening right now.
Really strange. It's like a periscope to me. That's what caught my eye. It's like a huge periscope from a submarine.
Something's happening.
Exactly.
We're looking at photographs that Brennan just captured of what appears to be a saucer, kind of disc-shaped object in the skies. It's definitely not a bird. We see no wings, a head, or a tail of what, I don't know what it is, but something's going down right here as Robert Bingham summons UFOs. Robert, you know, it's been an incredible day, insight, in person with Mr. Robert Bingham, the man that summons UFOs, on location right here at Redondo Beach. We noticed an anomaly right out here, just a half a mile off the pier. Mr. Robert Bingham, any last words for the Third Phase of Moon viewers and the world?
Yes, I believe that this year is going to be disclosure, and disclosure is really not going to come from the government. It's going to come from the people such as myself around the world that are bringing this phenomenon and calling them down. And that's the kind of disclosure you're going to get. And I want to one day have everybody summon around the world and bring them over their cities. And this way we'll know, and everybody else will know, that they are real and we're not alone.
The world needs to wake up, and if anybody out there has captured anything incredible in regards to the UFO phenomenon, like Robert Bingham, submit it to Third Phase of Moon via Skype, Facebook, share it with us, share it with the world. Robert, again, thanks a lot for joining us.
It's been nice talking to Blake.
Quite incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Flying object, flying object, flying object.